What's up there, my fellow skeptics and true believers? I am on my way to a ghost hunt. That's right. I figured, you know what? A lot of the people that watch this are on both sides of the fence. I have skeptics and scientists, but I also have true believers and people that aren't sure about the paranormal. And when I go to conventions and events where it's skeptics or humanists or people that just don't have anything to do with the paranormal, they're like, I talk about ghost hunts, and they're like, what? People actually do this? Or for those that know about them or see them on TV, they've never actually seen one, I guess from a skeptic's point of view, because it's always, ghost hunters or monster hunters or UFO hunters that are filming it and editing the footage. So I figured, since I had the opportunity to go up to a place that's allegedly haunted, and one of the most haunted places in the area, because that's a pretty common tagline, I figured I'd take you along with me and do like a video, a blog, just going through the ghost hunt. So I'm heading up to Hinsdale, New York, and it's a place called the Hinsdale House, which is convenient, being in Hinsdale. And it's got a reputation. It's got a reputation for having shadow figures and apparitions and noises and weird things happening all over the place, all over the property. Like a lady in white, which is another common ghost story kind of thing. A lady in white that walks around a man-made pond. There's also something about a ghostly figure, I think a boy and a girl, I'm not sure about that, but hover over the lake. There's, one of the famous stories is that there are faces that appear in the window, and people like see it from the outside, and they see these faces in the window, and they're like, who's inside the house? And they go inside the house, and they don't find anybody, but when they look at the window again, allegedly the faces are on the outside looking in. And then it happens vice versa. They're inside and they see the faces, and then they go outside and see the faces. So we're gonna see. I'm getting up there early. I was invited by the organizer of the event tonight. They invited me up to stay, and I can go early. So I'm gonna go around the grounds. I'm gonna get some pictures and check some things out. I'm gonna see what kind of like ghostly evidence they have, and see if I can figure out some explanations for them. And we'll see. And I'm going to take you along. So if you've never been on a ghost hunt, come along with me. Let's see what happens.
Take the next right onto McMahon Road. In 800 feet, turn left to stay on McMahon Road. Take the next left to stay on McMahon Road.
All right, so I've made it. I've reached the Hinsdale House, the famous haunted house in Hinsdale, New York. There it is. Looks tiny. Let's go take a look inside. All right, let's take a tour of the house. Dun, 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 dun. No ceiling. Bedroom. Small bedroom. Very small bedroom. With two beds. Kitchen. Area. And these. Bathroom that leads into the basement, which is a very strange configuration. I mean, you're literally toilet, basement door. Very strange. Very strange. Let's go down here. Take a look. Third floor. Chairs set up, and that's pretty much it. Very small room. It's not big at all. Yeah, it's. I can just about. Nope, I'm hitting. So very small. There's another crawl space behind. Let's see. In here, and I want to show you. So that's light back there. That's the outside. So you definitely have airflow coming through here, which can be a big problem for like classic haunted house kind of stuff, where doors open and close, especially interior doors that are usually lighter than like your front door or your back door. They have a habit of going in and out or opening and closing from interior air pressure changing, especially because of air coming in through that. And this leads right up into the house. So yeah, you're going to have that kind of stuff. Kitchen.
Yeah. Show Kenny. He'll probably.
Going to the living room area. So this is the living room, and they've kept it into like the 1970s decor because, according to history, the first family, Dandy family, came in here I think between 70 and 74. So they were here for 4 years. So they're keeping it pretty much like what it was back then, I guess, for ambiance, and it's pretty much a ghost hunter's idea that if you put the environment back into the time where weird things happened, then you might get more activity. But obviously I don't agree with that, but that's me. Maybe you too. I do like these. I want to take them home. Let's go upstairs. If you go to the right, this is a small room, bedroom. Very small, just enough for a bed. And the creepy baby carriage. And you can see that they keep, it's not, it needs work. It needs a lot of work. But they're doing good. At least the owner's putting the money back into the house and fixing it up, hopefully. But there's lots of opportunity for air to get in, for noises to get in. Speaking of noises, we go across the hall here, and this is the main bedroom. And one really big problem is this. So that goes right down to the living room. And there you go. That's actually, dude, that's actually pretty cool.
What?
Because the noise, you have like it's not an echo per se, but you're giving it a different tone.
Oh, it gives off a different tone up there, huh?
You sound muffled.
Hello.
Like, not muffled as in like, but almost like headphones aren't working right.
Oh, that's, yeah, like,
so,
okay.
Yeah, I could, if that comes over a recorder,
yeah,
that could even be mistaken for something really weird.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
hey, that's
interesting.
Note, then.
I hope I catch this.
Yeah, I hope so too.
All right, cool. So I want to cut in on this and just give you a little bit more background information. I reached out to my friend Pascual Romero, who is one of the co-hosts of SCRYING the Strange podcast. He's got a background in the music industry and also the film industry. So he was the perfect person to ask. And I called him up and I described the situation that you just saw. And he told me that it was a dead sound. That what happens is because there's insulation in that hole, surrounding the hole, it's absorbing a lot of the reverb. And the reverb is what happens when you talk into like in a normal room. Your voice doesn't just go right from the person's lips to your ears. It goes out in all directions into the room, and it bounces off of the walls, the ceiling, the floor, and everything else. And that's what you hear. You hear everything at once, but it sounds normal to us because we're used to it. When you take away all of that extra, that reverb, that the extra sound waves bouncing off of everything, you get a direct voice. You get a direct sound, and that's what we're getting here. We're getting a direct sound that's coming through the hole, and that's why it sounds dead. And that's the term for it. It's deadening the sound. And thanks to Pascual for that information, because it really is. I mean, like I said in the video, that clip, if you hear that, that's a completely different tone, and it sounds weird. It really does. So I could totally see ghost hunters or anyone else just there for fun, like listening to that later on you know, maybe a couple hours or days or weeks later, listening to that and saying, wow, that's a completely different voice. You know, that must be a spirit. I could see that happening. So, all right, back to the video. This is a little tiny room. There's no light in here. Let me put a light on. So it's like a closet. And they have a mirror here so people can stand here or sit here and look in the mirror and stare into the mirror because reasons. Ghost hunters like to scare the shit out of themselves. And then off the master bedroom is the small room. This is where I'm going to be staying tonight. This apparently has the worst activity. That's what I was told. So I get to sleep with a whole bunch of dolls. Freaky dolls. And then one more thing I'm going to show you. Walkthrough is right there. That is a crawl space that is above the kitchen area, which is a small one. Let's see if you can see in there because of the reflection. But there's not much in there except a whole bunch of junk piled up. So, but I did get a 360 video of it, so I'll show a picture later.
123.
123, Saturday, March 19th. We have Kenny Biddle, we have Carrie, we have Rachel, we have Carl Johnson, and myself, James. We are going to be asking some questions. If there's movement, please make note. If you guys have anything that you move, shuffle, please make note. I'm moving right now. Kenny's recording. He's going to add some commentary to this later, so we'll see how fun it is.
All right, I'll start. We're here to talk with you. Whoever lingers here. Mary. Laura. Do you like us being here?
Do you remember James and Carl?
It's more or less a statement, but Kenny doesn't believe in this. So this is your point, opportunity to prove that you do exist or are here.
Are you sad?
What year is it?
How old are you?
Could you move an object? Could you move one of these chess pieces? Checkers, sorry. Let's move the books.
There you go. Thanks.
You drop in the recorder. I'll play a game with you.
So are your headphones plugged into the recorder?
Correct.
Okay.
So you can hear it in real time.
Yeah.
If there's anything.
Just so I can hear things a little bit more better. My hearing's
More better?
More better, yeah. My hearing's terrible, so there's probably a constant feedback, you know.
But you might pick up on things that other people don't readily.
Yeah.
Your level might.
Because I do gotta make note there is a mic right here too.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I gotta keep where
So
we're breathing.
Then is that picking up both the microphone in the recorder and on your headphones?
It's picking up both, yeah.
Okay.
So I gotta be wary about my breath, you know, if I breathe.
Right.
I gotta make focus of that too.
And friction if it hits
Yeah,
your
friction. That's why I'm kind of leaning right now.
Okay.
Was that while we were already here?
Not hearing any ghosts
So
yet.
like probably like maybe if I forget if I went upstairs.
Maybe they don't want to talk to a skeptic.
Yeah, but we were here before you guys.
That was the fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely the fridge.
If that had just happened once, we might have cause to wonder.
Yeah, it
Did you
happened
hear
like
a rap?
Oh, it
trying to get our attention?
sounded like it actually sounds like a voice, but then when you call it out, you know,
Yeah.
When it's consistent like
it
that.
sounds like a gutter. Like
Okay. You know, that's something to note for later too, because if somebody's in here or upstairs or even like in the front room or something, and they ask for somebody to knock,
and they hear
and
that.
they hear that, that's
Could be
that would
perfect
be-
timing
yeah.
too. They could ask it right at the right
Right.
moment, and then it happens.
yeah.
And looking at himself the whole time. Let him fool you.
I'm gonna be the skeptic going. No ghosts yet. Nope. They're talking to nobody.
Just talking to ourselves.
He's talking to himself. He just looks fancy with headphones.
So Laura, do you still come to these this part of the house? Do you come to the living room? I hate to even ask. What made you commit suicide? What was it? Was it depression, anxiety? Was it situations that you dealt with in this house that caused a minor exorcism?
So who was Laura?
Who was the teenage daughter that lived here?
From
I believe it was the Dandies.
The Dandy family, yeah, she committed suicide, but not in this house.
Okay.
But some of her effects, like her roller skates, are still upstairs.
Oh, that's what you should. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Are those around all the windows?
What?
The screens.
Bars?
Yeah.
No.
Because I wonder if
yes, I
that's
think
too
so.
hitting the wind,
But
hitting
that's
it,
not-
and that could be making.
I think so because once again, like this is a place that so many people try to,
Right, I was
Come
gonna say,
see
that's
and-
not original.
you know.
You mean like a rattling noise? Is that
Yeah,
what
I wonder
you're-
if it's the rattle of those that's
find
making the noise.
I'll rattle it for you. You
I
want
haven't even been hearing it, so.
It's over right over here.
it right over.
You keep hearing like the gunshot sound.
I hear, yeah. So it might be that. I'll just,
I wonder if it's the.
I'll tap on it just lightly,
Okay.
and then I'll do it increasingly harder. All right, we're gonna go see what happens when we tap on the bars. By mean those things. So let's see.
Just curious.
That's what it sounds like.
But it sounds further away, so it's got to be from the
This-
back of the house. If
this can
if
make
that's
noise.
what it is, and it's not gunshots.
He wants your attention. He's trying to scare you.
Oh yeah.
Nice experiment.
I think that definitely could be a cause of a noise. Which one? Oh, in there? Okay.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
pilot,
the
the
T-stat's
pilot's
off, but
lit.
the pilot's on.
Oh, okay. So that's making
Yeah,
noise like it's
making
trying
noise
to-
like it's kicking.
It's like
Okay.
trying to click,
Awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
trying to light.
Good job. So, this is Future Kenny breaking in here just to give you a little, I guess, summary of what you just saw. That was basically an EVP session, which, according to ghost hunters, are their way, it's their method of allegedly communicating with ghosts. They ask questions, as you saw in the video, and they leave pauses in between the questions, and hopefully they get a response. But the responses aren't heard until they play back the recordings. That's why they had digital recorders. The difference here is that normally when I observe ghost hunters doing this kind of thing, they don't check on noises. They usually, if they make the noise themselves, they tend to call it out. Not all of them do, but some of them do. But if they hear a noise, they'll usually say something like, "Oh, did you hear that? Oh, what was that noise?" And that's as far as they go. They don't actually get up and investigate it. So in this video, you saw a few times, well, at least once on video, that I got up and went outside to check the grates, the bars on the window to see if they were rattling, and that noise was transferring inside so they could see it. On that note, with that context there, the ghost hunters themselves, I gotta give them props because they actually went further. They kept looking, and they found that the heater that was in the wall there at the end of this that last clip, that the pilot light was still on, and it was still trying to click on and heat the house. And even though that it had already reached the temperature, there's something wrong with the thermostat, and it was continually clicking and making this noise. So I would assume, and this is definitely an assumption on my part, that ghost hunters that are there, that are doing their EVP sessions at night and asking for questions, if they were to say, "Hey, if anyone's here, if there's any spirits here, can you knock or make a sound?" Because these are general questions that they usually ask, which opens up to any kind of noise possible. And if they hear that click, that could be taken as confirmation to them. So that's a big issue, and I'm glad to see that at least the ghost hunters or the people there this time with me, the 4 other people, they got involved. You know, they got excited about, hey, let's find the source of these noises, and they did. We found the refrigerator. We found the gate, the grates outside, the bars on the windows, the thermostat / heater, cooling unit, whatever that was. And we did find a few other things off camera. So props to them for doing that, and I appreciate it. But that's rare. You don't always see that. But for now, let's get back to the video.
It's good fun. Yeah, oh yeah. Look at
Winner, winner. Yeah.
some of your house. It sets off a lot.
Oh yeah, all back here.
Goes all the way over there.
It's
huh?
still.
I think we found that
It's
out
still
last
going?
time when you and I were here.
But yeah, we did, yeah.
I was going over there with it.
Yep.
You guys are matching. Did you coordinate?
All the attendees.
Go ahead.
So everybody, my name is James Nito.
Carl Johnson.
I'm James Anito. I mean, Tim Shaw.
Thank you for coming tonight, guys. It's a big group. Hopefully the rain holds off. We're gonna attempt a few things tonight. This event is called They Never Left Hinsdale. So hopefully you guys actually leave tonight and we lose nobody.
They always come back.
Also, what we do want to note one thing is if you guys do not want it, our videographer Kenny over there will be filming you the whole night, basically. If you don't want to be appearing on any of his video, please just go up to him and say, "Don't include me," and then he'll remember your face. Is that all right, guys?
I'm in witness protection.
All right.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of...
All right, James, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, I'm going to start off in here.
All right. Ask your question.
Can you tell us who's with us tonight?
Can you tell us how many spirits within this house?
Do you like having this many visitors?
Did you pass away on this property?
Are you annoyed that there's this many people in the house?
Can you tell us your name?
So I'm breaking in again here to explain that this went on for several minutes, a good probably 10-15 minutes. They went down the line, and as you can see here, they went into the kitchen, and then it actually went up the stairs into the master bedroom where there was other people, and then it went back down. They reversed the direction, came back down, and then they did it again. And I guess the point of this was to get everyone, to have everyone have a chance to ask questions of the spirits. And I guess they were recording. I'm not sure who was recording and who wasn't, but I don't know what happened. Just a whole bunch of people asked questions, and that was kind of it. Then they broke up into other things. So I don't know what the point of it was. There was no controls. There was nothing put in place. No special protocols, anything. It was just everyone get in a line and ask questions, and you know, that's pretty much it. So, and as I took video of everyone, hardly anyone was actually holding a recorder or any kind of recording device. So there was a few, but not many. So I don't know if, you know, they caught ghosts or not. So we'll see.
All right, we'll stick with the static.
Okay, John, I want you to basically clear your thoughts, and you know how to do that. I'm sure you have to sometimes.
We're sorry.
You know, just be receptive. You're good at that. And if something,
Just make sure you have the line open. So
yeah, it's not go back and forth like that. But if there's something that makes you feel apprehensive, even go to an experience in your past, bring that to mind. You're obviously in a safe environment, surrounded by well-wishing people. But go to that place of discomfort and fear. Breathe out. Once more, breathe in. Breathe out. And as you exhale, a feeling of calm, relaxation flows throughout your body, all throughout. But down at the bottom of those stairs, there's something you may not wish to confront, but it awaits you. John, look at her.
get a clear image of her, please tell us how she is dressed. Assuming she is dressed.
Long hair, but it's put into a bun. She's wearing more like Victorian clothing.
Please ask this woman, ask her if she can read and write, if she has that ability to read and write.
Yes, she's educated.
4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you're back with us. No need to feel ill at ease anymore.
We're done. I pulled her out.
I know it's kind of a shock to come back, but so you got a clear image of this lady.
Yeah.
Who I assume lived here. What'd you feel about her? I mean, she doesn't sound like she was welcoming at all.
No. Should be from, I'm guessing maybe the 1880s, 1890s. Her hair was pulled back, straight hair was pulled back into a bun. Then her Victorian dress was all gray. She had a white collar, kind of like a doily type going around, button down the front. Sleeves came all the way down, a little puffy up on the sleeves. The skirt came all the way down to her ankles. Negative. She was just negative.
So far, been through one session with them in the living room, and they allegedly put somebody under hypnosis, which I seriously doubt that they did. I don't think the guy was under any kind of trance or anything like that. I mean, it just didn't seem so. They asked him questions. I don't have anything to back it up, but it looked like he was making this stuff as he goes, making it up as he goes. So, I'm talking about a woman in the basement. I mean, it's in the video. So, basically, they asked the guy if he had been here before or did any research, and he first said no, but then he said that he had been here before. So, yeah, he probably did hear the stories if he was here before, especially if the guy Tim was here. He does like to talk about the stories and stuff that they experienced. So it's pretty it's a pretty good chance that he was here and knew the alleged ghosts that are here. So easy to describe it, easy to come up with a description. The description that he gave was not thorough. It's not detailed. It was pretty vague. So we'll go with that. It looks like they're coming, so I'm gonna shut up. Looks like the group is going along the side of the lake. Apparently this is where the woman was seen, so I'm gonna go follow them. It's cold out here.
Now, right here in this area, there was several people have seen a woman dancing, and it's what did Paul Kenny used to call her? Oh, that crazy bitch. That's what he used to call her. And what they used to do is they would park their cars right where our cars are, and then they would watch. And she would actually, I don't know where she came from or how she would come up, but she would be seen here. Now, I was over on the other side of the dock, and I saw someone over here, dressed in gray. Of course, it was ambient, just like this, so you could actually see it. But she was sighted in the 70s, 74, 75, 76, multiple times here. So we don't know if she has anything to do with the woman that's seen in those windows. They see a Victorian woman that walks by the dining or the living room window, because if that second window was Beth's bedroom, one of the daughter's bedrooms at that time. So they don't know if these two are connected.
Hi, my name is Tim. I'd love to talk to the woman that used to dance here all the time.
What?
You were close. Would you mind if Heather went swimming? Technician, can you respond to any of the questions that we're asking? Technician, keep working harder. Get the loudest, strongest signal and frequency that you can in order to answer us. If you will do that, please say yes. Technician, can you come under the frequency? Can you speak under the frequency, under the gibberish? Technician, I'm going to count to 5. You fill in the number. 1, 2, 3,
4.
There you go. 5.
So I'm breaking in again because I want to explain a little bit about my view on this. So these guys are using a broken radio. That's what I call it. It's literally a radio that is allowed to scan through all the frequencies, either FM or AM, and there is no muting of the sound. So you hear the radio going through all these stations. And it's pretty much like if you're an older generation like me, you remember the analog radios where you actually turn the dial. And if you just turn the dial back and forth, that's basically what's happening here. And unfortunately, this is purely subjective self-deception on the part of the ghost hunters, because they're asking these questions. They believe firmly that they're communicating with some otherworldly spirit, and that spirit has some kind of magical ability to manipulate the radio and all the radio stations out there and make it say what they want it to say. Because the fact is, it's ignored that these are still radios and that they're still picking up radio frequencies in the area. And it's going to pick up snippets of all these radio stations. You can pretty much do the same exact thing with this with your local news. You can turn the local news on the TV and sit there and ask questions. What's your name? What year is it? Can you count to 5 with me? Fill in the blank. What happened to you? How did you die? You can ask all these questions of your local news and you'll get responses. That's the way it works when you're getting broadcasts like this. One of the things that they don't do, which shows how very unscientific that they are, is that they don't put this radio in something like a Faraday box, because they're not blocking out the one variable that is obvious, the radio frequencies. So if you put it in a well-constructed Faraday box and block out AM and FM signals from getting to that radio, and then you have something coming through, you have a voice coming through, then I'd be impressed. Then that would call for, hey, let's look into this a little bit more. Let's investigate why this is happening. But they're outside, they're in a field by a lake. Who knows what they're picking up? It's just not a controlled environment. So unfortunately, everything that they do with this is it's pretty much a waste of time. And I'm not trying to be mean to the people that do this, but you got to face facts. You're not controlling the environment. You're not controlling the situation. You're not doing good research. So please, you can do better. And just for an example, I want to show you a Faraday box that I built. This one. So it's pretty much a box constructed out of 2x4s, and I've wrapped it in screening and like aluminum door screening and aluminum foil, and a lot of it, like layer upon layer upon layer, until I was confident and tested that AM and FM signals could not get through it. So it's coated inside and out. You can see, and this thing actually stops. I put AM radios in there, nothing comes through. FM radios, nothing comes through. I've taken this on other ghost hunts with me, with people that have brought similar spirit boxes, or even ones that there's another version that has like a reverb pedal or something like that, guitar pedal or something like that attached to it, and they put it in here, and once I close the lid, nothing comes through. So here's a good one. I built it. I bring it with me when I can, and if they want to, people are ghost hunters are free to use it. But no one seems to want to use this. So there you go. All right, back to the video.
We allow us to douse tonight. We allow us to ask questions. Cross.
Flash. Or not.
Thank you. Open.
Mind if I shut this door, guys?
Go ahead. Thank you.
Sorry.
Now, does anybody know how these things work? Seriously, seriously, do you guys know how these things work?
No.
Well, the problem is that people all think that this is like super spiritual and shit. It's not. It's idiosyncratic. It's a idiomotor reflex. Actually, what's happening is you're moving it through micro movements that you don't even realize you're doing. Now, where the answers come from, we don't know. You could be that you're the antenna, whatever. But when you work with idiosyncratic stuff, movements, that's how the Ouija boards work, that's how pendulums work, that's how anything that, the writing planchets work, that's anything like that you're working with your hands. So a lot of it is all micro movements. And
so
even
you
though
wouldn't get the same effect if you put them both in a block of wood?
You get nothing.
Nothing.
What I did was I went and I taped these to 2 tripods. And I said close, and nothing happened. Worked a half hour, nothing happened. I took them out, and I said, would you close for us?
Yeah.
So you have to have a human element with it. So that means that there's some manipulation somewhere with them. Now, I'm not saying that it's not metaphysical, because they originally used dowsing for to find mineral deposits along with water, and they find use it for treasure hunting and all sorts of craziness. I've used these I found two cemeteries. Are you associated with the woman that we were talking to upstairs? Wow, I'm getting nothing. This is like a first down here.
All the pressure.
All right, so dowsing. Dowsing rods do not work. It's a novelty. It's a metaphysical novelty. Test after test under controlled conditions show that they do not find water, they do not find minerals, they don't find your lost car keys, they don't find jewelry, nothing. And they certainly don't talk to spirits. This is a result of the idiomotor effect, which was explained by this gentleman in the video, which got my hopes up. Like, wow, I couldn't believe we were on a ghost hunt and somebody was actually injecting some common sense into this and some actual good terminology and explaining it. But then he flips right over and goes the way of, they found 2 cemeteries, and he actually goes on in video that I didn't take to explain that they found headstones and this and that. And then other people in that group were using a pendulum, which is pretty much the same thing, and saying that they were getting results. What you don't see is that there was a whole bunch of video where the gentleman in this clip was asking questions and not getting a response. Although in the beginning of the clip, when he says something, can you cross the rods, and they cross, he says thank you, and then goes on to explain everything to the crowd. I don't know whether he was doing that on purpose or not, but as soon as I took the camera and went in front of him, he didn't get anything. And as you saw in the last few seconds, he's like, this is a first for down here, meaning that this is the first time he never got responses with dowsing rods in the basement of this house. And I'm gonna take a little bit of credit for this, because I think he understands what was going on. And when I put the camera right in front of him, level with the rods, I was looking for his movement, his hand movement, because you can see that. I've done it numerous times with people that claim to be dowsers, and once you video their hands straight on, you can see the subtle movements, and then when you speed it up, which I'll get to that later, when you speed up the video, you can actually see the movements are more pronounced. So, no, dowsing doesn't work. but it seems to be still an attraction to believers, to paranormal people. They still seem to be sucked in by the novelty of it. But we're going to go on to a seance. So, yay! Let's get to that.
You know what? I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I was a kid, children's seances were done in the afternoon, and they were done in the light. Darkness, you have something to hide. Okay? That's what you don't want. You don't want anything done in the dark. You want some kind of light. You want something so that you can't... I don't want you guys thinking that if something does happen, I don't want you guys thinking that I did it or I have some paraphernalia with me that moved the table. Okay? That's what it is. Now, the worst thing, the craziest thing that can happen, probably tonight, will either be wrappings in the table or the table moving. Okay? That's it. That's pretty much the craziest thing that'll happen. Yeah, but in Spirit, Mother, Father, God, I dedicate this table to spirit communication. I dedicate this table to spirit communication. I dedicate this table to spirit communication. Ground rules. No one speaks until I give them permission to speak. Okay? Everybody understand that? Because at one point let me get back here. At one point during the seance, when it feels right, somebody may have a message, somebody may want to say something. I don't want you guys to bite your tongues. You bring it out. We're talking, at that point, we take sync it with all of our vibrations. Sync it with all of our vibrations. Sync it within all of our Step closer, Spirit. I feel thou in you. I feel thou here. I feel thou here. Spirit, come here. Come hither. Come into the board itself. Come into this table. Spirit, move this table, please, as a symbol. Move it as a symbol. Move it as a symbol.
So at this point, the table starts to move, and it's going back and forth, with the largest movement pretty much centered on the guy that's in charge of it. And I want to call your attention to his hands, because in this next clip, I'm going to actually zoom the camera in on his like from the elbow down, and look at his hands. Look how they move in anticipation of the table moving, which means he's leading the table. This only happens when you're actually moving the table, not the table moving by itself, because then your hands would follow it. So particularly watch the edge of the hand. You'll see how the skin, it'll roll kind of like that. And for one thing, if the table moves on its own, if the spirits, let's just, the benefit of the doubt here, the spirits are moving the table and your hands are lightly on it, the side of your hand, the skin on the side of your hand would actually roll with the direction of the table. It would roll, like if it was going this way, then this side would actually roll underneath your hand. But if you're moving the table, because your hands are more than just lightly on top, if you're moving it, then you're going to see the skin on the side of your hand actually roll out, because you're adding force. You're adding the force necessary to move that table, and you're trying to do it really discreet, because you don't want everyone else knowing that you're moving the frickin' table. So you're going to do it discreetly, and you're not anticipating some guy with a camera zooming in on your hands. So check it out.
Follow my voice. Edna, my friend, you who have taught me this so many years ago, help them build the energy. Help them build this energy. Look down upon us. Help them build this energy. Slowly, slowly let it build. Let it build.
So obviously the table is moving. Is it the spirits that are moving the table? No, it's the guy that's in charge. Because if you'll watch his hands, as I mentioned, you can see the roll of the side of his hands. You can see the roll. If you look at his arms, you can see that his arms actually lead where the table's going to go. A few times during that clip, his hand actually slips. He breaks his grip because I think he's putting too much force. He's trying to put too much force on it, and the table doesn't give as much as he thinks, and his hand actually slips forward. And you can see that he does that a few times, indicating that he is applying the force, and it's not the table. He's manipulating everything. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you a clip. I mean, you're welcome to go back and rewatch that clip that just played. But what I did for you is speed up the clip of his hands moving, the close-up of his hands. And I did that because, as I mentioned with the dowsing rods, when you speed up video of this, the slow and subtle movements suddenly pop out and they become very obvious. And I mean, the reason that they're slow and subtle is because they don't want to draw attention. You don't want someone looking at your hands when you're playing with dowsing rods and moving them back and forth so they cross and uncross. Likewise with this table, you don't want people noticing that you're actually putting pressure to move the table to make it look like, you know, spirits are doing it. So again, when you speed up the video, the actions of the person manipulating the object become very obvious. So I'm going to shut up. I'm going to let you watch the sped up video and see for yourself.
Hello, my friend. You have taught me this so many years ago. Help them build the energy. Help them build this energy. Look down upon us. Help them build this energy. Slowly, slowly let it build. Let it build. Anyone holds a message, now is the time that you may speak. If anyone wishes to share an observation, now is the time for them to speak.
That's not really cool.
Spirit, draw close. Spirit, draw close. Spirit, draw close.
So yeah, that happened. Honestly, I have no doubt in my mind that it was the guy hosting the seance that was moving the table and not the ghosts or spirits that are allegedly at this house. No doubt in my mind. It's to me, it's painfully obvious, and I hope you see it too in the video, especially the sped up video. What really bothered me about this is that there were 25 to 30 people in attendance for this. Most of them all believers, and they were there to listen to these para-celebrity kind of people and listen to people that have been there many times over and ghost hunt. And then you have this person that comes in as an authority figure and does a seance and has the table moving and is moving it themselves, but passes it off as something that's genuine and real. And at no time the rest of the night did I see or observe him telling people that, hey, this was a joke, or I did that, I moved the table. Which really, really bugged me because these people were impressionable. And I mean, in fact, there was a clip, I have a clip and I'll put it in here, where he's actually doing some kind of misdirection where he's asking other people if they were moving it, or talking about how he has nothing up his sleeves and stuff like that. So I'll play that right now.
And the problem is people want to believe so much that they overlook stuff. And this is very raw. There's all of us, we know that there's nothing underneath the table that's going to go and push it. And nobody kicked it, right? Anybody in the circle, nobody pushed the table, nobody pushed the pedestal at all with their foot, right?
Jim kept looking on the table.
I saw that, yeah.
Okay, so these are things that you ask just to make sure that there's no tricks. There's no tablecloth on there, so there's no way that people are going to push down on that tablecloth and it's going to stick and it's going to move. So this is raw, and that's the way you want to do it.
So after all was said and done and people left, there were only a handful of us that stayed there, and I was able to stay the night. And I slept over, and here's a picture of me in one of the rooms, which I had mentioned early in the video during the walkthrough. No experiences. No ghosts came to visit me that night. I did not see or hear anything. I had a very good night's sleep. I slept really well. It was quiet, nice, and peaceful. So nothing scary out of the ordinary. I got up in the morning with everyone else, hung out, and then that's it. I went home. So I do want to note here that thanks to James Anito and Carl Johnson, because they are the guys that invited me out. James really was forthcoming. He was open to having me up there and saying, hey, you know what? Show us what we might be doing wrong, or, what ideas do you have? And he was very open to it. And I really appreciate that when we can work together and I can just help out. I also want to note that I did talk to Daniel Klaus. And I hope I'm pronouncing his last name. He's the owner of the house. And I did talk to him about some of the concerns, like the open crawl space in the basement, some of the holes in the wall, and other things, little things. And then I also brought up about this seance and these table moving by itself. And I let him know what I thought, and that I did have video that, to me, showed that it was being manipulated. And he was cool with it. So I don't want anyone to watch this and think, oh, you're ruining his reputation. No, I'm not. I'm giving you the facts. And I mean, actually, Daniel had been inviting me up for a couple of years to come up there and check it out and give my input. So it was all cool. And overall, it was a fun experience. I want to address something which probably will come up. Why didn't I say anything during the whole event? Why didn't I speak up? That's usually not what I do unless I'm asked. Basically, I want to blend in. I want to watch everyone, because if they know that I'm like the token skeptic and that I'm coming in there and I'm probably going to debunk stuff or find explanations for things, or maybe offer alternative explanations that have more basis in logic and reason and critical thinking, they're not going to cooperate. They're not going to want me around. They're not going to talk to me. And this way, it's much better. If I started causing trouble during the event, we're talking like 25 people against me. That's not good odds. So at the end of this video, basically what I want to do is just take you along on a ghost hunt with me and just see it from, the commentary of a skeptic on the way, while not being overly mean, but being truthful, which is sometimes blunt and could be hard to swallow for some people. But it was a fun experience, and after talking with the owner of the house, he has invited me back, and I talked to James, who was running the event, and he invited me to do more events with him, because he actually reached out and asked if I would do a series of events at places where we went into a more skeptical approach and picked out flaws in the equipment and the use and the methodology and all this stuff. So, I mean, it may seem silly to some people that, a skeptic going along with paranormal people on a ghost hunt, but I'm making a lot of progress. I'm getting in there and getting some good knowledge in there. I'm spreading critical thinking and logic and reason. It's having an effect on people. They're asking more questions. They want to know more about what they're doing, and they're reaching out more. So that's good. That's progress as far as I'm concerned. So with that, I'm going to end this video, and I appreciate you guys watching. I know it was a long one. This is probably the longest one I've done so far. But if you liked it, give me a like. And if you want more, subscribe to the channel. And I'm open to suggestions. So, if you want, you can find me on the Skeptical Inquirer website. You can email me, and we'll go from there. But anyway, remember, never stop learning. See ya.